You quizzed me before this game and said, what's the one thing that you do not want to have happen in this match? This would have been 1,000 foot above everything else. And yet here we are.
Into the black hole. Sing for my soul.
Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Sunshine on Leyth. It's the start of Season 3. If you're still enjoying it, drop a like on the video. Gonna jump straight in with some good news. We're in the same league as Blackhaven. It actually happened. I was a little bit concerned at some point. I was pretty confident given the way that we come up, but I forgot about the clubs coming down. And I did wonder if too many of the clubs that were from the National League coming down might have been from the north, we may have got reshuffled. But it turns out we did not. We're in the same league as Blackhaven United this year. And it's good because that derby against them, the first one is at home against Castle Park. Probably going to be episode 3. We'll have to see. But that is going to be a massive game. And more important than that, Blackhaven have gone professional. They have really stepped it up. Last year, they didn't really spend that much money. They didn't spend any money on signings. Their best played player wasn't on a huge amount. Still a lot for the level, but still not like an ungodly amount. But this summer, they have really pushed the boat out. Going professional, they've signed a lot of good players. Still no money changing hands in the transfer fees, but my goodness, they've gone for some serious, talented players on some big money. I think they're going to walk this league this year. As for us, I talked about this in the analysis video. I think our plan this year is probably mid-table, being, sensible about this. I think we could maybe make a playoff push, but it's unlikely. I think that the bottom clubs in this division are comfortably beatable. We've beaten them before. But there's a real difference now between the lower sides and the upper sides because you've got some sides, professional sides from the National League, all that sort of jazz. It's going to be a tough season for us. But I haven't really wanted to change the squad all that much. I wanted to kind of go with what we've done. So I focused a lot of the money. And notice we're actually using a fair amount of our money because I wanted to get some of our current guys on proper nice contracts. So we've got new 2-year deals now, which is nice of the board letting us have these, for the likes of Ben Mills, Liam Mottram, obviously Putman Kitely already had one like that, but we've really tried to tie down a lot of our key cogs to long-term contracts. You might also notice I'm not wearing a costume yet. Still haven't actually got it yet, but it will be coming. We will have it by Season 3. Not Season 3, start of Season 4. I promise you that. And we're also going to take a look at Blackhaven's summer spending and just have a little brief look at some of the players that they've picked up as well. So yeah, do not worry. There'll be plenty more signings over the next couple of months in the season as well, but we have still made some. But I've actually really struggled this summer. I'm going to be honest. I had that big shortlist I talked about of players I wanted to try and sign. And I was like, yeah, we'll just go pick them up. No. A lot of the time, the problem was, firstly, clubs actually want money for their players now. Free transfers from these clubs is not really as possible as it was, and I've actually signed a couple of players for cash. And secondly, a lot of the players won't even talk to us. They're just not willing to even talk to us because of the finances. So that is kind of interesting. One player I did get was released by Northampton. He wanted £800 a week, the first of which is Robert Whitton. Now, some of you might remember this name briefly if you watched the analysis video from the first season, because this guy was absolutely tearing up one of the divisions he was in terms of dribbles per game. He was miles above, and I think he was when he was playing for Spalding United. This is a bit confusing down here, but I think it's because... Actually, I don't even know. I think it's because he left them to go to Stalybridge Celtic and then didn't actually play for them last year. He was released. I picked him up, although we did have to pay. We paid £1,500 for Robert Whitton, and I think I regret that slightly. I thought he was better than he was. Or rather, my scouts rated him higher than he was. He was rated at 5 stars. He's coming like this. But the fact is, he's a left-sided player with decent crossing. Dribbling isn't amazing. Neither is his passing, though. So he's still young, though. I kind of thought of him as a bit like a Putman Kitely of the left. Yeah, it doesn't look quite like that. But he's got decent physicals in terms of his acceleration, his pace, natural fitness, but stamina and strength are very, very low. But next is a player that I'm really glad we have signed. This is Kasimba. He's coming from Biggleswade on a free, weirdly. He was available for a free, but he's on £300 a week. That was the lowest we could get him on. Now, I wanted another defensive midfielder that would be solid. Now, he can actually play as a Segunda Volante, which is surprising, but obviously we're not going to be using him there. But as a defensive midfielder or a ball-winning midfielder, he's reasonably okay. Got decent tackling of 11, to be honest. Reasonable acceleration and pace. He's only 5'5", so he's really going to have to zip around there and make stuff happen. Got him working on a few things. The one thing I don't like about him is his aggression is very low. And Ben Elderkin has signed a new contract, so he is still going to be here. Lots of new contracts around the squad, quite frankly. Ben Mills, I think he signed another new contract because we really wanted to tie him down. He's getting close to £450 a week, I think, now. But I love him. He has to stay. I really wanted to go with the same strike force to get a bit of continuity. Because I think one of the other problems you have in these leagues is if you constantly churn the squad around, like I do sometimes, you lose all that cohesion. Whereas we've really not lost that this year, with most of the players from last year are back again. And obviously I released a load of Deadwood. Speaking of backup, we've got Andres Perez de Gracia, who has come in on a free transfer. He was released by Derby County, I think. Defensive midfielder, 18 years old. I just saw the opportunity to pick him up on a non-contract basis, just as another option in that defensive midfield sort of slew of players. With his, he's tall, 6'2", really good physicals, like great pace and acceleration for a 6'2" 18-year-old at this level. But not only that, insanely good jumping reach. Now his heading isn't fantastic, but he can win those balls when we need him to. Still lacking a bit on strength and stamina. We'll get him working on some of that stuff, but I think he's just a viable option. I also brought Mark Jackman in on a free transfer because he was released by York City, and I thought, well, he played for us last year, did okay in a little bit of places. He's still got those reasonably good physical stats. Great dribbling, can't cross to save his life, but I thought, you know what, for a free transfer on a non-contract basis, we'll have the American Mark Jackman here. We already know what he's like, and I do like signing players that we've had before just because we know a bit about them. We know what to expect somewhat, and now that maybe he's here permanently, we can start to mould him a little bit more, because I wasn't really focused that much on his training last year, because why would I be? He wasn't going to be here at the end of the year. And there's one other signing, probably the biggest signing that we've made, and I really have pushed the boat out here, and maybe regret this. This is Ben Donnelly Blackburn, who's coming from Peterborough Sports. Now, we've had to pay £3,500 for the guy, but I was prepared to do it, and he's on £475 a week, making him the highest paid player at the club. Excellent physical attributes, because they're all above. There's no like standout weakness. His strength is still 10, which is really decent. 5'10", not too bad. Decent acceleration, balance, agility, just all the good physicals there, but also 7 and 7 on dribbling. I said I wanted a left back that had that kind of area. Reasonable marking as well, tackling, passing of 8 as well, which is nice. Vision of 9, so I expect to see some key passes out of this lad. There's no real standout weaknesses, not a single red attribute on his body, and that's why I was on the fence about whether we actually wanted to pay £3,500 for a player at this level, but... And the thing is, he's only on a 1-year deal as well. So this could really come back to bite us, because I don't know if we're going to be able to afford to extend his contract. But for 1 year, maybe it's a deal worth doing. I just kind of wanted to see. And like I said, I wanted to sign some marquee guys. And I think this is about as marquee as they come. He was originally rated at 5-star, but you know how my scouts are. Now, obviously, there'll be some more players coming in too. We still haven't signed a goalkeeper. I had 2 goalkeepers in mind. There's a guy called Teddy Paris, or Teddy Maris, I think. And there's a guy called Latham or something. And... Statham. His name was Statham, Scott Statham. I had both of them set up. I was like, right, we want one of these guys. Which one is better? So eventually I decided to go for Statham, put a bid in, wouldn't even talk to us. Thought, it's great. We'll go back to Maris then. Wouldn't even talk to us. That's the real problem we're having. So Scott Wardley is probably going to be our starting keeper this year, because none of the goalkeepers that are better than him are actually willing to discuss playing for us. As you can see, of course, they're still playing their wonderful, I say, back five with, all sorts of nonsense. But when you look at their transfer history this time around, they've signed some players. Now, I don't recognise the names of any of these guys personally, but I'm sure some of you guys do. And some of them legitimate. Look at this, for example, Oliver Lancashire, £2,000 a week he's nearly on. And we don't know everything about him, but my God. As a centre-back, okay, he's not the fastest, but, I mean... he's very good, isn't he? They've got some serious players on their team now that they're professional as well, which might be why they're having to offer a bit more money, but still, they've got some serious quality coming in. They have, however, sold a few people. Leslie Page, who looked like a very young player of theirs, 17-year-old, might have even come through their youth intake, has gone to Peterborough United, but as much as we don't know much about him, good work rate, great decisions, great anticipation, he looks like he's probably a pretty solid left-back, to be fair, and the fact that Peterborough were willing to pay £32,000 to a guy who was basically in the 7th tier at the time, that suggests that they probably got some good quality coming through that they are hanging on to. Now, one thing we do need to start to work on is just to get a bit more cohesion with this. We've got a lot of players that are in the other, and there's not enough influence in the squad just yet, which is concerning. But again, that comes from all the different sort of churn that we've got over the years. So Ben Mills is finally a team leader, because at the end of last season, him and Mottram were only highly influential players, and no one was above him. It's good that Harry Shepherd has now been moved up to highly influential. So Ben Mills has now taken the captaincy as a result of me releasing Henry Smith, I think it was. So that's good. So Ben Mills has got even more influence in the dressing room, which is nice, because he's got a fairly determined personality as well, which is useful to have, particularly in a world of balance. Also, Harry Shepherd was promoted to vice captain, so that gives him a bit more influence. The plan? Stay up, obviously. That's what the board expect from us. But I think we can do better than that. I think, being realistic, we can probably go mid-table, maybe even top half. But we'll have to see. It really does depend. Injuries could play a factor. We barely got any major injuries last season, which really, really surprised me. I feel like this year we're bound to get the rebound of that as everything kind of just reverts to the mean. And that's fine. We've kind of signed with that in mind. So, we start today away at Curzon Ashton. I don't know where they're expected to finish. We can have a little look, can't we, I suppose? Curzon Ashton, where are they expected to finish? Okay, so they're expected to struggle quite a lot as well. So this might be a winnable match, potentially, for us to start off with. You can see Blackhaven, of course, favourite. But look at some of the teams in this league. Wrexham, York City, Boreham Wood, like Chelmsford. Wow, Chelmsford were in the National League. That's pretty good for them. Hereford, of course, are a reasonably decent side, to be fair. Like, they were down there, but they're probably expected to do quite well as well this year. Now, we can't see their wage spending or anything like that yet, because we haven't actually played a game. So, there you go. Jose Bastos, an 18-year-old goalkeeper at Blackhaven. Yeah, no, he looks quite good, doesn't he? Mother of God. Don't worry, Regen Sunday will be Regen Tuesday tomorrow because we've had so many other stuff going on, but we will get back to it, worry not. So, Andre Brooks is one of the guys I'm looking at. Joe Stanley, I was looking at. He's on trial, obviously. And Kevin Lyle is the guy from Northampton that wanted £900 a week. So we're probably going to release those guys from trial. So, what have we got? Kasimba, and that's more like it. This feels better. Having Kasimba there, so good they named him twice, is a nice sign. Mottram and Mills up top, of course. Donnelly, Blackburn, Taylor, Lau, and Shepherd. Do I want to go with Jacob Owen? We looked at this in the analysis video, and we sort of were deciding between Owen and Jack Taylor. And I still haven't really decided, to be honest. But I think, like, you'll notice that the squad actually looks very similar compared to what it did last season when we did this. Like, same strikers, same right side entirely, same. 3 of the back 4 are the same. The goalkeeper's the same. It's this left-hand side of the squad that's really changed. So the addition of Donnelly, Blackburn, Witten, who will start today because we still haven't found someone else. Andre Brooks is potentially going to be that guy if I can afford him. And obviously Kasimba in there as well. I think we've definitely improved, but it's not like a stark change from last season. We've got to be careful, though, because they've got Muhammad Ali in the back line. And that is not what you want from a central defender. He will beat you up. I'll also be interested in what sort of attendances we're able to get this year. It probably won't. It might actually, against some of the bigger sides, like your Boreham Wood, those sort of games, we'll probably get quite large numbers. And obviously Blackhaven. Like, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't concerned about going into the season with Scott Wardley as our goalkeeper. I feel like he was at fault for a fair amount of goals last season because he just didn't have that quality. And playing in a higher level could well cost us like that. You quizzed me before this game and said, what's the one thing that you do not want to have happen in this match? This would have been 1,000 foot above everything else, and yet here we are. That's really not good. What are we looking at here? Potential. Oh God, lower leg injury, calf strain, maybe. This feels like broken ankle territory. I'm concerned. Well, worst possible start to the season when our young star is off after 12 minutes in the new league. Like, we're playing okay considering we've missing the main man, but I don't know. It's oh God, great, straight through. And it's missed. I think that might be offside. Anyway, no, that was not offside. Jesus. Yeah, the defenders were very much asleep at the wheel there. So, I mean, first half, defensively, pretty solid. Haven't really done a lot from an attacking perspective, though. I do think that that's just because we're not getting those deliveries now. This could be problematic for the full season, if we're not. I'm jumping the gun here. It could be a standard sort of little calf strain couple of weeks out. Honestly, that's more my concern than anything else right now. It's just getting out of this match and hoping that the lad's okay. Because it could have long-term implications for us this year. It could be the difference between like a mid-table finish and not. Richmond now to whip one in for Curzon-Ashton. You know what we're like from defending free kicks. I don't think it's going to get much better this season so far, but Kasimba's done superbly well. That's what I want from him. And now he's got that little bit more athleticism to really spring forward with it and have a little crack. They're going to allow him all the way in, I think. Might be able to square it. A bit wasteful there from Kasimba. Thompson through. That's it. Just stay sensible. That's it. Interception, not quite. Cornice. Oh, we should be able to win it back, though. No. I'm just looking a little sluggish here, and oh god, Kasimba's going to get sent off, isn't he? it wouldn't be a Whitport Athletic Do we get I swear we've had a player sent off in the first game of every single season so far in this save. Well, he's made an impact on the back of that guy's legs. Yeah, we might just have to return to 1. Then again, you know what 10 men can do? Richmond with the ball in. And they immediately score off the free kick with their first shot on target. Andy Halls puts Curzon-Ashton in front. Well, we look a bit lackluster today, and I'm going to potentially just put this down to the... Oh, that's bad defending. But it wouldn't... This is a classic Whitport Athletic defeat, isn't it? Red card, injury, and a goal from an indirect free kick. That's basically us in a nutshell. We may have to have a little rethink. But really, we don't really know until we're like 10, 12 games into the season how well we're actually doing tactically. Oh, good stuff. Ben Mills can finally stretch his legs and have a crack at this. It's probably a bit too of a tight angle here, and it's a good save by Mason. But we've been okay today. It's Jackman's chance. Can he deliver something special? Found a bit of space, and oh, we might get lucky here. No. Oh! Yes, it's in off the post. Mark Jackman off the bench. I don't think did he score once for us last season? It doesn't matter, because he's given us the equaliser away at Curzon-Ashton, and well, I guess that's what 10 men do for you. I thought he'd kind of butchered this, but eventually, the ball very fortunately breaks back to him when, I don't know what this is for defending from Jones here. Great little tackle, and then Jackman's just slipped it in off the post. Good stuff. Right, 1-1. Nice. Maybe there's hope for us yet. We've actually started to turn it on a little bit in the second half now once we went down to 10 men. Who could have predicted that? Mottram flicks it down for Witten. Here we go. Back for Mottram. He's through. Can he finish? No, big save, but we are looking much, much better now. Ooh, is that going to be a yellow? It's going to be a red card each. Everybody getting in the book today. I wonder what happens when you're both down to 10 men. Who gets the boost? That is the question. Looks like it's going to be a 1-1 draw. I mean, I can't really complain. Like, we've come back well. We're down to 10 men. 1 goal down. come back to grab ourselves an equaliser here with Mark Jackman getting the goal. I'll take that, frankly. We played really well in the second half after we went down to 10 men. Sort of faded away a little bit once they went down to 10 men, but there you go. Don't know what Kasimba was doing, getting booked twice. But a draw away from home on the opening day. We did it last year against AFC Tottenham, and look how that season turned out. So I'd take that. It's a pretty good result, I would say. I do kind of want to see what Blackhaven's first game turns out like, though, so we'll just go and see that. Oh, crap. Forgot about that. 3 to 5 weeks. It could be a lot worse, but that's still annoying because of all the fixture congestion at the start of the year. Here we go. It's Blackhaven United against Kettering Town. I want to see how they do in their first game. 2-2. They failed to win in their first match as well. Wow, there was 2 goals in the same minute, and then they went back in front and were pegged back by Kettering Town. They go above us only on goals scored, so hey, things aren't quite so rosy for Blackhaven either. Good news. Just wanted to stop Thomas Stepanek gloating, really. So there is our first match against Blackhaven United. That might actually, depending on how things go, be the second game of next episode. We'll have to see. How many games is that off camera in between? The problem is there might be some cups in. No, there won't, will there? You know what? We might well make that the derby in the next episode. Why the hell not? We'll do Kingsland Town, of course, at home straight up next. Do a load of games off camera in between, and then come back for Blackhaven United in the first derby in 2 years. I am stoked for that. Hopefully, Andre Brooks will have joined us, so we don't have to rely quite so much on the youngsters on the left-hand side. But it depends on money, and we need a goalkeeper too. But we'll have to see. I'm still pretty pleased with an away point there, particularly after we went down to 10 men. So if you've enjoyed this episode and you're looking forward to the season, drop a like on the video. That would be tremendous. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. That'd be glorious as well. I stream on Twitch on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and sometimes at the weekends as well, from 11 AM. So go follow there too. And I will see you guys very, very soon. Hold your gun, capybara. Bye-bye.